I would like them to redo the dub with Akira though. I hate the dub with Akira. The VODs are coming soon, I promise. I promise.
Those live-action Ben 10 movies used to hit as a kid.
I want Ben 10 to come back. Ben 10 was a great idea for a series. I actually don't think live action will work though. But if they reanimated and brought it back, I'd be down. I'm totally okay with that. Hold on, let me watch this water poisoning video. Boom. Somebody drank 3 gallons. How much is 3 gallons in 2 hours?
A mom drank 3 gallons of water in 2 hours.
I be down in that hoe.
This is what happened to her brain.
JK with Usher as Gojo.
I jump off the Empire State Building so fast in a game.
KC is a 28-year-old woman presenting to the emergency room unconscious. Her husband Josh tells the admitting nurse at admission that she had suffered at least 2 seizures in the past 30 minutes. You see, KC had been participating in a radio show competition, Hold Your Wee for a Wee, where contestants would drink up to 3 gallons of water in 2 hours, and the last person to urinate
Wait, there's no way this is a gallon.
or vomit would be the winner of a shiny Nintendo.
Oh, this for a Wii? Oh, nah. Bro, it caught a Wii. I think a Wii has historically been $200.
Wii. Clearly, this was for gags on behalf of the radio station and at the expense of its contestants, but KC was determined she was going to win that Nintendo and be
Never been this deep.
able to play it with her kids. Immediately after finishing all 3 gallons of distilled water, Casey complained of severe nausea, and in order to hold back the urge to vomit, she was found to clench the armrests of her chair. Within 20 minutes, Casey was easily crowned
I'd have just puked that shit up. I drank it. Just because it came back out don't mean I didn't drink it.
victorious in the challenge, and her husband began to drive her home. About an hour after finishing all that water and in the car, she begins to cry. She's suffering a massive headache and tells her husband, "I'm coming out of my skull." She feels pressure push against her eyes and reports that the vision in her left eye is going dark. Her
Oh, nah. Yeah.
husband drives quickly so they can get home and she can take a nap because they both believe
Get home? Home?
she can sleep it off.
Sleep it? I'm blind in one eye. W husband. Like, what are you trying to do here? You really want that weed to yourself. Like, what's going on? Why is he doing that? Take you home?
Interestingly enough, after drinking all that water, she has no urge to urinate or vomit. At home now, Casey goes to her bed to lay down while her husband begins to prepare dinner.
Oh yeah, nah. You think I'm going to sleep and I can't see in one eye? So for me to wake up with no vision?
Dinner's ready. It's only been 30 minutes, and the husband watches some TV and lets his wife sleep. It's here, in bed, that Casey silently suffers her first seizure.
Oh no, I don't do this.
Unknowingly, Josh watches TV for another hour, trying to be considerate to his wife, who he believes is sleeping, but is actually unconscious and suffering seizures every 20 minutes. As he finally feels it's time to call her for dinner an hour later, he goes to her room to see her and finally sees her suffer yet one more seizure. 911 is called. Inside the ambulance, Casey's sixth seizure is seen by the paramedics as she arrives to the emergency room where we are now. Given the patient's immediate
Does she know that you gotta buy games for the Wii?
past medical history, there's several clues as to what's happening. Any doctor will be able to easily identify that KC is suffering from acute hyponatremia. Hypo meaning low, natri meaning pertaining to sodium, or more formally natrium, as is shown by its symbol on the periodic table of elements. And
Wouldn't drinking more water drown out sodium?
Anemia, meaning presence.
Oh wait, it could potentially, if the whole cerebral context to the cortex push into the central frontal lobe, it could also potentially leak into the spinal cord.
In blood. Low sodium presence in blood.
Oh, I was right. Chad, I was right. How you gonna tell me to shut up, nigga, and I was right?
Acute, meaning that there are no underlying pathophysiologic conditions that are leading to this problem aside from the 3 gallons of water that are inside her body at the moment, which leads to the first clue. Josh tells the admitting nurse that Casey had not vomited or urinated since the contest ended, which means that there hasn't been a net flow out of her body. The 3 gallons of water are hanging around somewhere inside of her.
So you gotta drain me. Part of the drain gang.
That water is important to note because KC is a woman. The female body is, on average, made of about 50% water compared to male bodies, which are typically 60% water. Given that KC is 28 years old, she's premenopausal, meaning that she has more estrogen in her body than a 60-year-old post-menopausal woman. Estrogen is a sex hormone that increases the proliferation of fat tissue. Fat, which is made up of oils, doesn't mix well with water, so as women's bodies are made of more fat, they hold on to less water compared to men.
Basically, y'all can't handle that shit for real.
Who produce more sex hormone called testosterone, which increases the production of muscle tissue.
Men better.
A tissue that does hold on to water. So if the female body is typically made of less water and contains more fat, which doesn't mix with water at all, then where are those 3 gallons of water inside Casey's body? Well, there's a bit of basic chemistry to be known here. The fluid in your body is a soup of several chemicals. In this case, the most important being sodium, which is 1/2 of this table salt.
I knew it. I've been saying this to niggas for at least 6 years, bro. And I just wait for like the information to catch up for real.
The interesting thing about sodium is that it creates something called an osmotic gradient, which means that wherever sodium is, water will flow towards it.
Yep.
In this small science experiment, I dissolve salt in this water and place it into a tube. I submerge the tube in a pool of water that has no salt dissolved in it. You'll see that water flows into the tube. That water flows towards the sodium. So let's go back to the name of Casey's condition, hyponatremia, low sodium presence in blood.
That's what I had said.
If she hasn't urinated or vomited since she drank all 3 gallons of water, how is it possible that there's low sodium? Nothing has left her body, so there shouldn't be less sodium present, right? Yes. But the water in your body is made of 0.9% sodium, so for every 1 liter of water, there are 9 grams of sodium. Most of the water in your body is inside your cells, and in general, exists with 0.9% sodium. In the medical world, we call this normal saline, or isotonic.
And that's what they be using to, you know what I'm saying, rejuvenate you when you're in the hospital bed and shit like that, you know? Like they be attaching and then they put it in you they make you the drain gang.
KC.
You didn't know that until just now. I'm just putting you on knowledge.
Drank distilled water, which has no salt. If water flows to where there's salt, and your body water, which is mostly inside your cells, has salt, then KC cells must have lots of water flowing into them. This would mean that her organs, like her liver and her stomach, are starting to swell with water. That should be okay though, because your abdomen is soft, but the water wouldn't just be flowing to those two. It would be flowing into her heart, her muscles, but those aren't enclosed in a hard space either, so it wouldn't be too much of a problem if they swelled up inside. But what is a problem is the brain. It's enclosed inside a hard space, your cranium, also known as your skull.
And this is essentially what forced her eyes to pop out of her fucking skull almost, bro.
Your brain only has space to expand 8% in volume until it starts to push up against the bones in your skull. As the water keeps flowing into the sodium-rich cells of Casey's body, her brain is starting to crush up against the sides of her skull, smashing blood vessels as it expands, preventing blood flow.
They call that swollen brain syndrome, SBS.
And causing hypoxia, or the deprivation of oxygen. As the flow of blood is disrupted to Casey's brain, parts of it start to necrose, or quite literally die. This damage
Yikes.
upon brain expansion is known as herniation and means permanent brain damage in Casey's case. The disruption of hydrodynamic flow is a recurring physiologic theme when it comes to causes of sudden death. A cocaine overdose can overstimulate the heart, causing something called atrial fibrillation. This is a time when one part of your heart will beat at over 300 beats per minute, not actually contracting or ejecting blood. It causes blood to pool, forming a clot, which can lodge directly into your brain, causing a stroke, blocking oxygen flow to your brain and killing the tissue. In the case of a heart attack, the blood vessels providing your heart with oxygen are blocked by a plaque.
Nigga, chill. Okay, I won't do coke. God damn, you scared me.
Meaning your heart muscle no longer gets any oxygen. The muscle begins to die quickly, and the rest of your body no longer receives any blood. In the case of alcoholism, when the liver is cirrhosed, or 99% damaged and scarred, it prevents blood flow through the hepatic portal vein, causing blood to back up into the veins of the
fuck is that? Oh my
stomach,
God.
creating something known as varices. And if those veins burst from the backup, you will bleed to death into your stomach. A rare genetic disorder known as tuberous sclerosis
We still doing this.
complex mutates every single cell in the body and can grow tumors in the brain called subependymal giant cell astrocytoma. This disrupts the flow in the
Oh, why would you do this? Why did you have me on this, man?
brain and causes an enlargement of the head known as hydrocephalus, as well as these infantile spasms, which are really a form of seizure and has severe consequences on the development of these infants. They may never become functional adults if this isn't treated.
I'm giving up
The
alcohol.
notion of
I'm
blood
giving
flow
up Coke. I'm giving up drinking water.
Nigga, I'm about to give up oxygen.
through vessels was studied in 1840
Sean God is watching. He know my heart.
by a French physician named Jean-Louis Marie Pozouilly. He discovered the physical law that more generally describes flow of a fluid through a cylinder, whether that's blood through an artery, water through a pipe, or even electricity through a wire. As much as you'd be upset by an unreliable internet connection disrupting the flow of data for the videos that you watch on the internet, the disruption of blood flow in Casey's case has much more severe consequences.
Look at her eyes.
The disruption of blood flow in Casey's case
This is what happened to her eyes. That's why she felt like that. Shit's so crazy, man. For a we.
has much more severe consequences, unified under the same concept. Her past medical history all point to this: the headache, the pressure against her eyes, and the words, "I'm coming out of my skull," the darkening vision, and her seizures. Since Casey is still breathing, it may not yet be too late for her. She may not have herniated her brain just yet.
Yeah, did she
The
survive?
easiest way to treat her at this point is to use the same science that diagnosed her. If water follows sodium and water's flowing into her organs, then the cure is to draw that water out of her organs
suck it out.
with even saltier water.
Oh.
0.9% sodium is the standard in her body, and the distilled water she drank is floating towards that gradient. Then infusing 3% sodium water back into her veins will reverse the flow of that water back into her bloodstream and out of her organs. The final thing to note here is that Casey's condition is incredibly rare. The reason she suffered the acute hyponatremia is because of something called SIADH, Syndrome of Inappropriate Antidiuretic Hormone.
What makes it inappropriate?
Diuretic is something that causes you to urinate. So an antidiuretic is something that prevents you from urinating. Do you remember that severe nausea she complained of after drinking all 3 gallons? Well, nausea is a powerful stimulus for something called antidiuretic hormone, formerly known as vasopressin. Since your body thinks it's going to lose a lot of fluid in vomiting, it releases a hormone telling your organs to hold on to the water that it already has. It wasn't appropriate in Casey's case, and not only did she hold on to the water that was already inside of her before drinking the 3 gallons of water, but it also added the 3 gallons and wouldn't allow her to urinate. And because in this context, SI-ADH is very rare, it was an accident that it happened to Casey and not the other contestants on the radio show. But still, it's never anything you should ever want to try. Luckily for Casey, no herniation occurred in
Bro, ew, stop doing that. So he's saying that I could do this and I could survive.
her brain, and the 3% sodium infusion was enough to solve the hyponatremia and draw the water out of her brain.
Okay.
Upon regaining consciousness, urination preceded her saying hello to her husband.
Yay. She survived.
This case was originally presented at a Grand Rounds in central New Jersey. It's based off of a true story that had a much different ending. Originally modified to give residents and fellows a perspective on treating SI-ADH, acute and chronic hyponatremia, the latter becoming a completely different case. Thank you so much to my neurologist and pharmacist colleagues at the University of Illinois Health System and the Johns Hopkins University for examining the more intricate details of Casey's case. And thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself and be well.
I will. I'm about to give myself 5 gallons right now. So the lady died? No. What do you mean she said she died? Why are y'all saying rest in peace? He said she survived. Wait, what do you mean? He modded the So why did you tell me this? Oh my God. No, he didn't say that, bro.
Preceded her saying hello to her husband. This case was originally presented at a Grand Rounds in central New Jersey. It's based off of a true story that had a much different ending.
Why is he frauding? Why would you fraud cases like this? What are you talking about? Why even do some shit? Like you just fanficked a real case. It wasn't him. He made a revision. Why is it being revised? She died for a fucking Wii in 2009. Oh my God, bro. Bro, I just like... It don't matter, bro. Like, it's fine. Why would you remix this?
Random sorry but schoolboy little snippet got me hype.
What little snippet? Let me hear it. Let me hear it. Let me hear the snippet. Google Jennifer Strange.
Yo, Sean Kai holding my family hostage. She said you better listen to the playlist.
Damn, that's so crazy. How much do you love your family? God damn it, man. Bro, imagine dying in 2007. There's so much shit, bro. Like, you didn't know that a Wii U was coming out, a Xbox Series X, a PS5. I never pestered my mom to get me a Wii because I just knew when I was like 9 or 10 years old or however old I was when the Wii came out, like I knew there was gonna be better consoles. I just knew it. I knew we were going to advance to a point where I would never play that bitch again. I just feel bad now. Nigga didn't get to see To Pimp a Butterfly. She's a white woman. She wouldn't have appreciated To Pimp a Butterfly. I doubt it would have had much cultural significance. That's still fucked up though, bro. Like all this because I'm trying to have something good for my kids to play. Her family was awarded $16.5 million from the radio station, I assume. Or maybe it was from the doctor. But who knows that somebody has that super rare condition that he spoke of? How was it worth it? Y'all are not